Because they'll know not to mess with us because we're blood with warriors. And they'll know you'll never be hungry because you're blood with farmers and cattlemen. So you always cut covenant based on the strength of your partner. You partner up. You don't partner down. You never partner with somebody that doesn't have anything to bring to the table. You always partner with somebody that has attributes and characteristics that are different and unique from yours. I can't stay there. You got that? So after we exchange names, the next step is we'll keep rubbing the blood together till we make a scar in our hands. How many know that when you get cut, a scar stays? So once we finish that, we would rub our hands irritated until we make a scar. Why? Because that scar is a permanent reminder of what we are joined to. Every time I look down, I say, okay, I remember them. I remember them in my prayers. I remember them in seeing if they're okay. I remember them. Why? Because that scar. It's just like if you owe somebody some money, you really don't forget it. Because every time you see their face, that's a reminder that you owe them. So for you to, oh, I forgot, that's a lie. That's just somebody that is not in integrity. You didn't forget because every time you see my face, it's a reminder. I shut a door 20-something years ago at the old city fair. The glass just exploded. It cut me here, it cut me in the inside, and went in my eye. Every time I see these scars, it's a reminder of what happened. Could have been a lot worse, but God. And so every time they looked in their palm and saw that scar, it was a reminder of who they were joined to. Say who they were joined to. Number 7. Are y'all getting this? Or y'all just going to get to see this? Okay. Number 7. They would stand in the front of the witnesses. Brother James, stand up right there. You're just going to be my demonstrator today. Okay. What they would do in front of all the witnesses, they would stand there. I promise to protect you. I promise to provide for you. And then he will holler what he promised to do. And so what we're doing now is we're hollering out the terms of the covenant. And before all the witnesses, they heard us say what we were bound to each other. So we couldn't go back and say, well, I might have said that, but I didn't say that. No, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. So now you got to hold your family as witnessing it, my family as witnessing. So we're screaming out the terms of the covenant before all the witnesses. Thank you, sir. And so it's not just he and I that enter into covenant. It's all the Sanders and all the McMullins.
That's good.
So if his child is getting beat down in school because we're a family, the Sanders kids got to come to their rescue. Yes. Because when you mess with a McMullen, you mess with the Sanders.
That's right.
Amen.
Are y'all getting this?
Amen.
So we would holler out the terms of the contract. And y'all are like the 8th thing. The 8th thing is we'll eat a memorial meal.
Yeah.
That's the only part of the contract some of y'all will like. We'll eat a memorial meal. Okay. The memorial meal to complete the covenant, the union. In place of the animal and blood, we will have bread and wine. Is this kind of sounding familiar?
Yes.
Did Jesus not have a memorial
Yes, he did.
meal? Did he not holler out the covenant? Did he not shed his blood and his bond? You kind of seeing the connection here? So they would, number 8, they would eat a memorial meal. And then the 9th thing is they would plant a tree. Did Jesus not die on the tree? So they would plant a tree that will be a memorial and an example for years to come. Each generation to see this tree that was planted by our families as a sign of covenant. Y'all got that? Got all 9 of them. Now in the Bible there are 7 covenants. We're not going to talk about all of them. I'm just going to give you these 7 so you'll know. The first one is the Adamic covenant. It's the covenant God made with Adam. Adamic covenant. The second one is the Noahic covenant, the covenant that God made with Noah. You with me? Mm-hmm. All right. The third one is the Abrahamic covenant, the covenant God made with Abraham. Abrahamic covenant. The fourth one is the Mosaic covenant, the covenant God made with Moses. Fifth is the Davidic covenant, the covenant God made with David. Sixth, the new covenant, or the covenant that Jesus instituted with the shedding of his blood. And the 7th is the everlasting covenant. The everlasting covenant. Say everlasting.
Everlasting.
I'm going to go over one more time. The Adamic covenant, Noahic covenant, Abrahamic covenant, Mosaic covenant, Davidic covenant, New covenant, everlasting covenant. Y'all have it?
Yes.
And let me read this. God deals only with covenant people. He is a covenant-making, covenant-keeping, covenant-enabling God. Every covenant promise is power. Each one replenishes you and allows you to possess the gates of your enemy.
Yes.
God is a covenant God. He doesn't do anything outside of covenant. Y'all have that? Okay, now let's get into this word. Go over to Genesis chapter 1. We're going to talk about the first three, the Adamic, the Noahic, and the Abrahamic. For the sake of where we're going, we have to discuss them. Genesis 1, 26 through 28. You have it? Say, I have it. Listen to this. Then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the sky, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the what? Earth. 27. God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he what?
Yeah.
What was Eve named at first? Adam. Why was her name Adam? Because she was in Adam. They were one. That's another message. Okay. Created he him, male and female. Kind of busts up the whole homosexual theory. Because if Adam was gay, guess what? We wouldn't be here. Okay, that's another day. Verse 28. God blessed them or empowered them to prosper and said to them, be fruitful. How can you be fruitful? Never mind. And multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. And rule over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the sky, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Now the covenant that God cut with Adam, the Adamic covenant, was a covenant of what? Authority. It was a covenant of authority, a covenant of dominion. He was to rule, have dominion, multiply, replenish. It was a covenant of dominion. God gave him rulership over the earth. That's a powerful covenant. Brother Maurice was talking about that God made man a little lower than God. Gave us what? Majesty, gave us dominion. So you're talking about a covenant that God cut with man that would give him dominion over all the works of God's hands. Isn't that powerful?
Yes.
Can't stay there. Go over to Genesis 6 and 18. Y'all know the story of Noah. Genesis 6 and 18. When you have it, say, I have it. Listen to what God says. He said, but I will establish my what? Covenant with you, and you shall enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives. Go over to chapter 9, Genesis chapter 9, verses 12 and 13. He said he going fast. I have to. I got to lay this foundation for where I'm going. Genesis 9, verses 12 and 13. You have it, say I have it. God said, this is the sign of the covenant which I am making between me and you, that every living creature that is with you for all successive generations. I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of a covenant between me and the earth. It shall come about when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow will be seen in the cloud. Anybody ever seen the rainbow? And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh, and never again shall the water become a flood to destroy the flesh. God cut covenant with Noah, that a flood would never destroy all of life. He said it may flood, it may storm, but never again will water wipe out all creation like it did in Noah's day. That's a covenant. Every time you see a rainbow in the sky, you should be reminded of the covenant that God made with Noah. So the covenant that God made with Noah was for protection. Protection. He would protect him from being devastated by the flood waters He would never have to go through that again. So the Adamic covenant was for dominion. The Noahic covenant is for protection. All right? Go to Genesis chapter 12.